So, you're wondering why cheat days and cheat meals are bad? Well, put that burger down and let's talk about it.
Put that cookie down! Now!
Cheat days and cheat meals are bad because 99% of the time, this approach is born out of a short-term mindset where you're just trying to speed up results, just get quick, fast results, and you haven't set a proper foundation of good nutrition habits, right? These are the same people who put cayenne pepper in their water. They're like, I like spicy water. Yeah, I do. I genuinely do. Right? Or wearing waist trainers, like if I just squeeze my internal organs together, that'll do it. That'll give me a trim waist. But anyways, you have to set a good foundation of basic nutrition habits. So the issue I find with the cheat day approach is that most people are trying to be perfect throughout the week. It's not sustainable. Then they splurge on this one day and they fall into a place of burnout, which ultimately leads them back to their poor nutrition habits. Now, you might be asking me, well, Devin, you talked about these basics, these fundamentals. What are these basics? What are these fundamentals? In my opinion, there are 5. And these 5 weren't cemented for me overnight. And so that's not my expectation of you. I'm going to talk about what the 5 are and how you should approach these, adding them into your life, adding these disciplines and habits into your life so that they stick for the long term. All right, so what are the 5? Number 1, the 80% rule. Simply put, you're eating until you're about 80% full. You can't always, 100% of the time, control exactly what is in your meal, content. You can always control the quantity that you're eating, right? Portion control. And so after a meal, you should feel light. You can get up, move around, do things, be productive, right? You're not in a food coma, right? You don't have the itis. You know, you got to unbutton your top button. You just, don't look, right? You're in that position. You don't want to be in that position, okay? So eat until you're about 80% full, and that will serve you well as point number 1. Number 2, no alcohol. Number 3, no soda. Number 4, no caffeine. And number 5, limit sugar. When I say limit sugar, you know I'm not talking about fruit. You know what I'm talking about, okay? So that is number 5, limit sugar. Now, a lot of people probably just clicked off this video like, Devin, I like a little drink, right? I like to feel warm. Or my coffee people, they'll say, well, I just like the taste of coffee, Devin. Well, yes, with all the cream and whipped cream and caramel and syrups and milk that you add, I'm sure you absolutely love the taste of coffee, right? And you say, well, you know, if you don't need the caffeine, well, just do without it. Just go without it. And then 2 days later, you see him, give me $10 for some Starbucks, baby. They are down bad. Now, you might be saying, well, Devin, earlier you said people take things to the extreme. They try to be perfect, and that leads to burnout. This seems pretty extreme. Well, I would say that it is not. And here's why. Is it rare to do all 5 of these things? Absolutely. And as a result, you're going to have a rare level of health, a very high quality of health. But it's not extreme. I didn't say anything like, hey, you got to drink 2 gallons of water a day, or you got to count every scrap of food and weigh it and figure out the calories. Do the math. All of these things ultimately are quite sustainable, and they're rooted in the simple idea that if you want to get started on the right track with your nutrition, and as opposed to adding all of these sophisticated strategies and techniques, simply stop doing the things that are hurting you, right? Just cut the things that do not serve you. And so, as I mentioned earlier, these things weren't cemented for me overnight. And so I'm going to explain with this next point how to effectively approach this. How do you make this a lasting way of living, making it a lifestyle with these habits? And so the dynamic that we want to look at is taking the stairs versus the elevator. What do I mean? When you're taking the stairs, you're stacking habits one on top of the other. And so this happens as a gradual process over time. Versus you take the elevator, from one day to the next, you've made this drastic change that in many cases is not sustainable. Now, some of you, you're hearing this, you've heard the 5 habits, the 5 fundamentals that I've shared with you, and you rock with it. You're like, yeah, I'm doing that now, right? And that's fantastic. That's awesome. If you're really committed to doing it for the long term, do it by all means. But for most of us, we got to take our time and build these habits gradually. So think staircase, building these habits over time, versus elevator, one day to the next. To say that you're going to be absolutely perfect with this is nice. And again, it's possible, but if you slip in one area, just get back on the horse. Don't beat yourself up. It's a waste of time. So in order to make these things a lasting habit, you need to consider the balance between consistency and intensity. Now, consistency, as you know, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, consistency is always number one. That always should be first, the top priority. That being said, you need to figure out the intensity that you need to be at any given point in the year. One common mistake folks make, both in terms of nutrition and training, is that they try to keep the exact same training plan or way of eating, that same level of discipline or intensity or rigidity, 365, right? And our schedules change, so you need to adapt and change with it so that consistency can stay at 100% or as close to it as you can manage. As you raise intensity, however, you're increasing the likelihood of burnout, right? You got perfect consistency and a high level of intensity, right? You can't keep it up all too long. And so you need to consider that in order to stave off burnout. So don't take this to the point where you can't sustain it and then everything falls off and you just throw everything to the wayside. That is one of the core reasons why people lose weight, lose weight, gain some more, lose weight, and they keep going through this cycle, is because they're trying to do an extreme that they can't sustain. So the goal is that whatever your destination is, your desired goal, the desired place that you want to get to, you need to be able to get there in a similar way as how you will stay there. Meaning, if I do something super extreme and I can't keep this up when I get to my target weight or that target area of fitness that I want to be in, well then once I get there, what's my incentive to maintain those habits that got me there? And so you're going to let those things fall off and then regress. So we don't want to progress and regress. We want to get there and stay there, even if it takes longer. Now, with that being said, let me explain the ideal place that you want to get to with your nutrition, okay? So with these habits that I've outlined, and there are many other habits that we can talk about and consider, but as you add habit after habit, right, you're stacking habits over time, what you're going to find is that you're going to have improved health, but you're going to start to reap the fruits of those habits. So you're going to have more energy, better sleep, better digestion. You're just going to feel better overall. And the place that you want to get to with your nutrition is that it's not a fight or a grind. You're not dieting. You're simply appreciating how eating well makes you feel far more than the short-term satisfaction of eating unhealthy foods. So once you get to that place, it's no longer dieting. You're not, I'm on a diet. No, you're just eating well because you appreciate how eating well makes you feel. And so when you get to that point, even when you're going out to eat and enjoy yourself, it's less milkshakes and wings and cheese fries and cheese puffs. It's less of those things and it's more sushi. I'm going out for some pad thai. I'm getting a nice steak. So those other things are few and far between. You're naturally gravitating towards those healthier options. So here's the challenge I leave you with. For the next month, what I want you to do is comment below which of the 5 basic habits are you going to start working on. Are you going to do 2 of the 5, 1 of the 5, 4 of the 5, all 5? Comment below what you're going to commit to for the next month. And here's the thing. This is not about just doing a month challenge, but rather it serves as a stepping stone, a foundation, so to speak, and a sneak peek for what's to come in terms of your health. You're just going to get a little taste of the increased energy, right? Less lethargy overall, right? Improved health, better sleep, better digestion. You're just giving yourself a sample of what's to come. And so you set this foundation to start for this next month, and then you're continuing to build for the months to come. So again, comment below which of the 5 habits are you going to start with over the next month. I will see you next Friday in the next video, but until then, stay blessed by the best.